What plot hole irritates you the most? Why didn't the Little Mermaid just communicate via writing? She could sign her name to the contract, so obviously she could read and write. So some guy sneaks into the Gotham Stock Exchange and performs a bunch of illegal trades, so now Bruce Wayne is broke. So of course that means they should turn off his power the same day. Hocus pocus. The witches are so amazed by the present day, like they see a paved road and a bus, and they're like, WTF? What is this? Half-hour later, Bette Midler flies alongside the good guys and says, "Show me your license and registration." How would she know about that? In the movie Snowpiercer, the character Edgar was born on the train. Where did he get an Irish accent from? No one else on the train has one, and even if his mother did, he would have a train accent from talking to the others his whole life. Why does Doc travel back to when Marty and Jennifer were teenagers and bring them into the future to keep their kid out of trouble when he could have just traveled a few days back and warned adult Marty what was going on in Back to the Future Part 2? In kids' movies where Santa is real but nobody knows except the kids, the parents wake up to presents under the Christmas tree every year and are just like, yup, nothing Seuss here. Toy Story 2. If Woody is an old family toy, which makes sense because he was apparently made in the 50s, then why does he not seem to have any memory of being owned by anyone but Andy? I wouldn't mind as much if it wasn't hugely central to the entire plot of the movie that he's afraid of Andy outgrowing him. Okay, this is partly my fault, because in the kind of movie I'm going to talk about you can't reasonably expect the plot to make sense, but it's still so stupid I feel like I need to write this. X200B. In the movie Mega Piranha, there's this bunch of piranhas killing things and whatnot. At a certain point of the movie, the protagonist happened to wound one of them, which is immediately eaten by the other piranhas. At the end of the movie they don't know how to stop them anymore, since they even ate a submarine and survived a nuclear torped without any damage. But then, the protagonist remembers that unlucky piranha. So he and a few other guys go swimming between them to attack with spear guns obviously more powerful than nuclear torpedoes until they manage to wound one of them. They then proceed to happily go back home, explaining that the problem is solved since the piranhas will just kill each other until there isn't any left. Like, what? Edit Lamau, who would have thought my most upvoted comment ever would be about Mega Piranha of all things? By the way, if you like movies that are so bad they are good, Mega Piranha is really fun because it's a total disaster of a movie. It didn't go viral like the more famous Sharknado, but it is just as good. Or maybe I should say bad? Maybe not a plot hole per se, but it bugs the heck out of me when the interior of a residence doesn't match up with the exterior. Die Hard 2 is the worst. The premise of the movie is that terrorists took over one of the DC airports and wouldn't clear planes to land. They are going to run out of fuel and crash. So when the pilots can't raise the tower, obviously they are going to try a different airport channel. And if somehow they couldn't contact anyone, I'm gonna say they will just land at some other airport without permission rather than crashing. I used to kinda get annoyed with people who complained about how Frodo and Sam didn't actually go to Osgiliath. This ruins the movie, but when you actually delve into understanding the character and motivations of the major players in Lord of the Rings, Sauron being deceived about where the ring is actually a major plot point. In Return of the King, Sauron focuses all of his attention on Aragorn because he thinks Aragorn has the ring. So Frodo showing the ring to a wraith in Osgiliath makes a lot of Sauron's actions after that make less sense. Why is he not turning over every stone looking for the hobbit he last saw holding the ring? Why is he falling for what are now much more obvious diversions? So Daenerys just kind of forgot about the ships. Literally 5 minutes earlier they have ships. Somehow, Palpatine returned. Why in hell wouldn't Harry remember his godfather's gift? That one still annoys me. How did he just forget about it? Prometheus, when the geologist with the drones and high-tech mapping gear was lost. Not sure if this counts as a plot hole, but Home Alone 2 really bugs me. The McAllister family 1. Lives in a mansion in Chicago. 2. Treats extended family to holiday vacations. 3. Has 2 parents who are attentive enough to regularly attend school functions and fairly discipline their children when they misbehave. 4. Experienced the worst-case scenario from waking up late 1 year earlier. And you're telling me this family still only has 1 alarm clock in the entire house? One Harry Potter plot hole that has bothered me since I was a kid is how did Fred and George get the passphrase to the Marauders map? I solemnly swear that I am up to no good is very specific. I'll gladly participate. In The Emperor's New Groove, there is a scene in which Kuzco and Pasha are shown on a map clearly winning a foot race to Yzma's secret lab. In fact, Yzma and Kronk have been struck by lightning over a gorge, and are shown to have fallen into it. Yet somehow she and Kronk have arrived to the lab first, in time to hide the potion that Kuzco needs. By all accounts, It doesn't make sense. Why doesn't Keegan fly the pod racer instead? He could use the Force to cheat his way to victory instantly. Obi-Wan could do it, too easily, and why the fuck does nobody, even a fucking queen, come back for Anakin's mother? They could have wrapped that shit up in less than a day. How Ant-Man was able to go into the quantum realm and only a short time passed compared to everyone else, but when Hank Pym's wife went in, the same exact time passed for her as for Hank Pym. The movie annoys me for many reasons, but in The Dark Knight Rises, the police force spend months underground, yet when they emerge they are all cleanly shaven, their uniforms are neatly pressed, and their shirts are pristine. Who is Chip's father in Beauty and the Beast, and what happened to his other brothers and sisters? Mrs. Potts mentioned. And Beast didn't look like an 11-year-old in the portrait that was destroyed. The beginning of Man of Steel, where Superman's home planet is being destroyed and the villain is exiled while the planet is exploding and all of the citizens are dying on the planet. His punishment was literally being the only survivor besides Superman. Karate Kid 1984. The referee overseeing the climactic battle in the Karate Kid had repeatedly told competitors that kicks to the face are not allowed. Later, however, we see Daniel pull off the crane kick move and win by kicking Johnny in the face. BoJack Horseman specifically establishes weight, revealing that despite everybody being human versions of animals, they still have their respective weights. BoJack specifically states he is over 1,000 pounds. Then there's a scene where a fly carries him high enough to be nearly hit by a plane. Flies weigh nothing and weight was already previously established. This is actually the only plot hole that exists in the show. Prove me wrong. Why does Santa want Rudolph to guide the sleigh with his bright-ass nose on a foggy night? Bright lights fogged whiteout. How are new cars made in the Cars series? We have 2 full movies about generations of cars but only know that they have regular carpets via 2. Do cars have living babies like mammals? Or car eggs? Are they built? If they are built, by who? Why do car bugs exist? How does Sally have a tramp stamp? Is Mater missing his nose skin essentially? Does Mater full-on crotch grab peeps to drag them to a garage? Would a detail paint shop be essentially a plastic surgery center? How do trailers work? Does Lightning McQueen essentially peg Mac every time he goes into him? Is that how baby cars are delivered? Why am I so curious about the world of Cars planes? Aladdin. X200B. Aladdin's first wish was make me a prince, not make me look like Amy, an actual prince. So the rest of the movie is his friends telling him not to act like a prince, and the bad guy is threatening to reveal that Aladdin is not a prince. I mean, the most powerful being on Earth made him a prince, so he's a prince. Toy Story 1. The movie is Buzz coming to terms with the fact that he is a toy, and his backstory is not actually real. Toy Story 2. The movie is Woody discovering his backstory. If every toy fresh off the shelf believes they are actually that thing and not a toy, then why does Woody not remember it all? If Buzz is aware of Zurg, then why does Woody not know Jessie, Bullseye, or Pete until meeting them? In Episode 2F09, when Itchy plays Scratchy's skeleton like a xylophone, he strikes that same rib twice in succession, yet he produces 2 clearly different tones. I mean, what are we, to believe that this is some sort of a magic xylophone or something? If Buzz Lightyear believes he is a space ranger, why does he pretend to be non-sentient along with the other toys when Andy or his mom come into the room? Why does Ross, the largest friend, not simply eat the other friends? Why didn't Ariel write Eric a message in the sand explaining that Ursula stole her voice? She knows how to write because she signed her name on Ursula's contract. She never thought to grab a quill pen and a piece of parchment and explain in writing. One of my favorite movies is The Replacements. But you're telling me that a group of replacement players can go out and beat the reigning Super Bowl champs and they all go back to their normal jobs? Nobody got signed? Not even Falco? TV or movie, whatever you got. I'll go first. Cinderella. If your whole outfit and ride all changed back at midnight, why didn't your shoes? Were you always going to end up with glass slippers as a souvenir?
I hope you all are doing well, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed this video. If you have something to say critically or otherwise, leave a comment. And if you enjoy this content, don't forget to subscribe to see more of it. I hope you all have wonderful and fulfilled lives.